नोएडा फिल्म सिटी के मारवा स्टूडियो में आसगोन मीट द अफ्रीका एशिया स्कॉलर्स ग्लोबल नेटवर्क पर बातचीत के लिए प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस आयोजित किया गया। प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस के दौरान डॉक्टर संदीप मारवा, प्रेसिडेंट ICMEI एंड चांसलर आफ्ट यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ मीडिया एंड आर्ट्स ने कहा, सरकार भी एजुकेशन पर बहुत मेहनत कर रही है। AI आने से भी शिक्षा में बहुत प्रभाव पड़ा है। जब बच्चों को सही एजुकेशन प्राप्त होगा तभी उनका भविष्य उज्जवल होगा। कोई भी देश विकसित तब बनता है जब वहाँ के नागरिक शिक्षित होंगे तभी उनका विकास होगा। साथ ही उन्होंने एजुकेशन की परिभाषा भी बताई। मोहम्मद अब्दुल दिवाले, संस्थापक आसगोन, ने संदीप मारवा का धन्यवाद किया और इंडिया, अफ्रीका, ऑस्ट्रिया जैसे तमाम देशों को साथ बैठकर शिक्षा को बेहतर बनाने पर जोर देने के लिए सुझाव दिया। आत्मनिर्भर बनने के लिए शिक्षा व्यवस्था को मजबूत बनाने के लिए कहा। साथ ही AI के आने से क्या क्या प्रभाव पड़ा उस पर भी अपने विचारों को रखा। कार्यक्रम के अंत में डॉक्टर संदीप मारवा द्वारा मोहम्मद अब्दुल दिवाले को किताब भेंट किया गया।
We are here at International Chamber of Media and Entertainment Industry, and we have with us Abdul Diwale Mohammed from London, UK, who's been a founder and executive president of a very well-known organization called AASGON. We've been working together on education for the whole world as such, because we believe that if there is anything which is very important today, it's the education. And you know it that we've been in education for almost 31 years. We have 17 different colleges and a university called AAFT University. We've been very serious in building up the career and the character of the students who are associated with AAFT. AAFT has proved all over the world its caliber, its status, and we have been rated as one of the best institutions in the world. I'm very happy when I met Abdul Diwale in London. We could gel very well in less than a minute, because what I was thinking sitting back at India, he was thinking same thing sitting back in London, UK. We have joined hands together to work together on education. I've always believed that the times have changed and the pattern and the design, methods and strategies in education must be changed. They must be little liberal, little modern, little technical. Then only probably we'll be able to deliver the best to the students of this world. I'm happy to say that AFT has been a case study in 27 countries of the world. We've been a case study in UCLA. We've been a case study even in a new education policy 2020 in India. I have always believed that if there is anything which need to be uplifted is the education. I have given a new definition to education. Because when I say E stands for entertainment, E stands for energy, E stands for excitement. And that's what the whole education should be all about. When I say D stands for discipline, dedication, and determination. When I say U stands for working under controlled condition, working with United Nations, and especially all the 17 SDG points, Sustainable Development Goals. When I say C stands for communication and commitment. The next A stands for attitude. The next T stands for techno-savvy. I stands for information. O stands for the overall development of the child. And N stands for being nationalist. And this is what I'm trying to teach, being a mentor and a former president of CEGR, Center for Education Growth and Research, which is the biggest body in higher education. I have been propagating the new definition of education all over India and abroad. Well, I'm also very keen in listening to my dear friend Muhammad Abdul Diwale, who's a very responsible officer and someone who has brought already a big change in education, and he's putting his best to bring best into education. May I request Muhammad Abdul Diwali to please speak few words.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sandeep Marwah, and thank you all, and also those who are listening to this wonderful day, I will call it. This is today is the 28th, am I right? Yeah, 28th of December. It's close to the end of the year. Those who've served the Christmas, now we're all waiting for New Year, and I believe that we look for greater things next year, 2025. 2025 will be a wonderful year because a lot of people, organizations, institutions like that of Dr. Sani Marajan doing great things over the years, like we had over the last 30 years. They've been trying to see how best we can deal with education across particularly developing countries. Now, the ASGON is called the Africa Asia Scholars Global Network. Why do we set it up? It was in 2010 when we referred back to 1955, which was when they had the Asia Africa Conference in Indonesia. That was in Bandung. We realized there's been a problem, the fact that most of the governments, in fact, even Indonesian government, are already planning for next year, which is 78th anniversary of the Asia Africa Conference. But unfortunately, most of our universities are not aware about the efforts of our leaders, like Jawaharlal Nehru, who was then president of India, Prime Minister of India, and then we had Nasser from Egypt, we had also Nkrumah from Ghana, we had the one from China, we are from Sri Lanka, and they came together in Bandung not only for political independence, then they wanted economic, social independence. But unfortunately, we know that we are 80% of the population of the world, and yet we are still far behind. That's what we call the North-South divide. You realize that when COVID came, it became much wider, and now with artificial intelligence, it's a great concern, and that's why I always take note of what Ajay Banga, the president of the World Bank, said recently, that he find it probably hard to sleep when he starts to see the mistrust in trying to unite the North and the South, which is the West and the developing countries. And I think that's a great concern coming from the president of the World Bank. Not only that, we had the Secretary General of United Nations about a few weeks ago saying that the financial architecture the world deals with is unfair to developing countries. That's also a great concern. We as an organization were signatory to the United Nations Global Compact. We're also a member of the UK Stakeholders for Sustainable Development. And it was of great concern when in 2018, the World Economic Forum, even though I'm proud that they were bold enough to tell the world that the world is fractured. And that is about 2018. So we ask ourselves, knowing that our world is fractured, what do we do about it? So our organization, which Dr. Marwah has been very supportive with, they decided that we need to find a solution. So we got a 3-point solution to rebuild the bricks of our fractured world. And then also that conference was the 46th or 48th conference of the World Economic Forum in Switzerland. And there, for the first time in history, they had women to co-chair the summit in Switzerland. We're very proud that the World Economic Forum can think and know the potentials of women. But unfortunately, women were only used as numbers. But I have said it to the UN Global Compact. What we did was to call for a meeting in New York with the UN women. And we sat with the UN women. One of the greatest misdeeds of most of us is that when we parley with United Nations, we seem to feel we're in a comfort zone. We fear to tell the truth, to be honest with ourselves. But I'm here to say that on the 19th of July 2018, right there at headquarters of UN Women, I told the Under-Secretary General that they do not even know the value of women, and I still maintain it. Because women are great potentials. Women, no man here even can say he was born of a woman. And so, because women are divided, and until women themselves can unite, Because if you look at the animal kingdom, how much they care about children around them. But what do we do with our own children? Everybody is selfish. My child. But you forget that your child will live in the street with other children that you abandon. So what is the rationale for you to say you love your child? So we realized in 2018, in 2010, because I had an orphanage in Africa, and I set up the first African children organization in the UK in Westminster. And when I realized that we don't care about children all over the world, I then felt that if we have good policies that are diverse, we can actually change the course of history. So then what did we do? We knew it was going to be a hard thing. I've raised over almost £50 million supporting children in my life. But when 2010, I realized that if you see 1,000 children who were suffering, and you take 200 out of it, you believe there will be 800 left. And you assume that some people will have taken another maybe 100 or 200, believing you have maybe about 400 left. Go down there, you see 4,000. So you ask yourself, what have I achieved? These are the things we looked at and we said, look, we need to revert back to what, like Dr. Marwah said. Among the things we said about education, attitude, character is missing in today's world. And without that, let's say, what is the point of having gained the whole world and lose your own soul? So, but the point there is that history is coming to be made next year, because for 14 good years since 2010, we've done practical research. We are also happy that the first thing we did was to try and what even United Nations lack, because every time a president of the UN General Assembly comes up, because they only have one time to serve, I can tell you, go check the history. They always say, I am going to build trust. Trust is missing in our world. 1945, the United Nations was established. It's going to be 80 years next year. But we're lucky that there was a great guy who wrote a satire, which is about animal